things were never okay, and therefore, like, they still aren't in my life. That's just my normal. So it's strange, you know, like you get on this healing journey, things start to change, but you can't fully embrace what you're aiming for until life plays out the plan that it has in store for you. Hello everybody, how's it going? I hope that you're doing okay. I think I grew up, I know I grew up, but I think you also grew up in an environment that zoomed in on fear and fueled the fear rather than remaining calm and having a homeostasis of trust that you're okay and things are okay. And so I hope that you're not freaking out or anything. I hope that you're doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit uncomfortable because one of my roommates is here. I like to have my space, especially when I'm filming, but just in this whole healing journey, I like to have my space because, you know, it's a personal thing. But with the pandemic and everything, my roommates are gonna be home more often, so I'm just pushing through that discomfort and the discomfort that's all around right now, and striving to come back to a place of calm enjoyment of life, which has been hard for me over the past year. And that's kind of a good segue into today's video. This is my mind toy for the day. Hair tie, because my hair is long enough to go up in a ponytail or in a little bun. Not quite a braid, but this is all irrelevant. Today I want to talk about something that feels a little bit weird to talk about. I think the title is going to be something like, I just want to live a normal life now. And it's kinda, I don't know, I don't like to think that my life isn't normal and that I'm special or unique and different in some way. But I think I have not been living a life that I would consider normal and that makes me feel like myself. I've been living a life that's been a lot of stress and loss and unhappiness due to the constant stress and loss and worry. And I think those are all normal things. That's why I don't want to be like, I want to live a normal life. And like, I haven't been living a normal life because all that stuff is normal. Everyone experiences loss and stress and worry. But in my case, I feel like I've also, kind of like I said in the beginning of the video, let that grow and consume my life to an unnormal extent. And that focus on the discomfort within me and around me makes me live in a way that's like not what I see healthy people around me doing. So I guess in contrast, what I consider a healthy life is not being focused on the discomfort and like trying to perhaps find relief, but being present and like taking care of business and living with a focus on other people as well as ourselves. When you're living in fear and discomfort, it's hard to genuinely put that down in a conversation with another person or an interaction with the world. You're focused on yourself and your perceived unmet needs. Normal life, I think, also has a proactive approach towards growing, or if not growing, because not everyone is always striving to expand their mind and embrace their highest self, at least just maintain, you know, your life. Maintain it, just keep it going smooth. So when you're focused in on all of the stress and all of the fear, I just don't feel like it's normal or healthy. It's kind of vague and hard to explain, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I just hope that you understand, and I have a feeling that you do. In a home where there was fighting all the time, or there was actual abuse, or subtle mind abuse, or abuse of a substance, maybe the substance abuse brought on abuse, maybe it brought on neglect because you weren't important, you know, a substance is more important, and there needs to be a reason to use a substance or to abuse others, and therefore issues were exaggerated. That's not normal. It's just not. And even if, because I personally wasn't the person who was like so clearly abused until just recently. Like, I was neglected and not taught like a value-based, valuing the well-being of other people and yourself above whatever else, anything else. I wasn't explicitly taught that. I don't know how to live like that. And even though I wasn't the one who was abused, there was like, people just weren't okay. Things were never okay, and therefore like they still aren't in my life. That's just my normal. And I now have been around more people who are healthy, and I'm around them more often than people who are unhealthy, and I'm just ready to make the switch. And a lot of things had to fall apart in order for that to be the case. But I think I'm in a place where like it's possible. So it's strange, you know, like you get on this healing journey, things start to change, but you can't fully embrace what you're aiming for until life plays out the plan that it has in store for you. And so it might be hard if you're like in the middle of things, just wanting to get there to the destination, living a normal life, and like there's just a mess around you and it's unavoidable. Like, I get that sometimes that's just the case. You can't just like, bye, problems, you know. It's hard, but you get the job? Okay, so let's segue into a new conversation. There are alcoholic and narcissistic fleas that I adopted from what those two things on their broad spectrums, alcoholism and narcissism, showed up as in my home and life. So for instance, the shame response, you know, after drinking or after some whatever activity, there was shame. People were shamed, and like I make that neural connection often. That's a flea of mine. There's also caring about appearances and what people want and expect of me rather than what's actually going on with me. That's a narcissistic flea. And there's also caring about me and my life and kind of being just less focused on the people in my life first and being like, how are you doing? And like, oh, y'all are going through a whole life as well, you know. And that sounds terrible to say. And I think that I'm better at it than I make myself sound. I just like to own up to my weaknesses completely. Okay, here's another flea. I don't even have to whisper it. Like, this goes into the conversation. Is owning our weaknesses more than our strengths. That's a flea of children. And like, that's more of a symptom of adult children than a flea that we picked up from alcoholics or narcissists. I don't know. You know, who cares? Who cares? There's also intellectualizing. Like, reading into things that people do and that you do, rather than just living life and letting most things just pass through you freely so that they don't get stuck, and then like more things get stuck and it's harder to let things through you and go, and you just hold on to so much, and there's like this big almost tangible cage around you that life has to pass through, and it's just like friction and hard. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I'm rambling. I'm all over the place today, but it's not in a bad way. I'm feeling pretty good. So, living a normal life, it's kind of what I just talked about. Like, just letting all that stuff go and living, you know? And I think right now in particular, with all of this pandemic weird stuff happening, we can't really like plan, because no one really knows how things are gonna evolve and how long things are gonna be in this weird like limbo. So I think it's the perfect time to really embrace just living. And like, you know, there is stress, obviously. Like, living a normal life does not mean that like magically the people that we've lost, you know, and I'm not talking about like people dying, but there is that fear. Like, that fear is real of losing people, and actually losing people because of no contact, either like you going no contact with them or they going no contact with you. Fear, loss, stress, concern, like that all exists all the time. That is part of a normal life, but it is not the focus of a healthy normal life. It is just part of the yin and yang of a normal life. And, you know, actually I think just being grateful for what you can be grateful for, and connecting with people, that's what's happening right now. Is people are forced to slow down and do what's best for themselves, but also for the community and for their loved ones. And, you know, people are at home with their families and going to the park with their families and being careful. And I don't know, I feel like it's just the perfect time to like reset back to the basics, caring about yourself and caring about the people around you, looking out for everyone's best interest and health. Yeah. On another note, I know that for some people this is a really good thing, because they're not able to see their loved ones that are perhaps not healthy for them, like maybe these narcissistic or alcoholic addict people in their lives. But also for some people it means that they're stuck at home with these people, and if you're struggling, I'm so sorry. So sorry. I see you. I hope it gets better. I really do. Soon. My prediction is that this month is gonna be hard, but it's gonna get a little better, at least after that. And I also think good changes are gonna come from this, but I know it's just a weird time and a hard time for many people right now. I hope that you guys can focus on the positive, but if you're having a hard time, I'm sorry. And I also want to just give a quick shout out to all of the people working in hospitals right now, because it takes a really brave person to continue to do their duty in these hard times, these scary times, be on the front lines, as they're calling it. Those are the people who I think we should be focused on right now. You know, it stinks for everyone else who's struggling, like stuck at home with toxic people, like maybe even domestic violence. And it sucks for people who are unemployed now, but like those healthcare workers, that's dangerous. And I just appreciate heroes like that right now. And with that, I think I'm gonna get going. Gosh, I talked about a lot of things. If you're still watching, hi, hello. Say hi, hello to me down in the comments below, so that I know that you watched and you're not a hoe. I'm trying to rap now. See, my head. Where am I? What am I doing? Hi, hello. Goodbye. Stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.